I drove a Cadillac. Well, he had it all. They say he was the king, but look how happy he was when he split the scene.
Yeah, we need them. We really do. We need, and it's a need, we need strategies for living.
Say that again.
We need strategies for a living. So, are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
Listen, we got in here today.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a grip on it.
Yeah.
But I just, as we got going, I was
Your
playing
brain
the
got
wrong song.
Your brain got busier
pressing the wrong
and busier.
button,
But that's okay. The doctor's in the house today.
Ooh.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Well, I think all three of us probably need a little doctoring when it comes to today's subject. Do you ever think of yourself as having a busy brain?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask you. Jimmy answers the yes. I'm not even going to ask you.
Not even going to let me
PLPC,
try.
Lauren Leon McMillan.
You're not going to let me to try to fake a lie in there.
Yeah.
What about
go ahead.
I'm the Zen Buddha.
Yeah. I live with you. I know better.
What about you?
Oh, well, I wish I could say that, I had it all together, but no, I need the doc too. Yeah.
We got to get the doc in here.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the busy brain cure today. Dr. Romie Mushtaq has a new book. It's called The Busy Brain Cure. It is an 8-week plan to, listen to this, find focus, tame anxiety, and sleep again.
Ooh.
And chronic stress, and she knows what she's talking about because she's a board certified neurologist, but she actually nearly lost her life to chronic stress before undergoing life-saving surgery. We'll talk about that. As a brain doctor, maybe, we could say, okay, Dr. Romie, you should know better, but we better not do that. But what we can do is we can find answers from our life strategist today, Dr. Romie Mushtaq, The Busy Brain Cure. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being here, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing,
Roof.
Learning RX, Hippress, Cannabis with Love, and the Shreveport Little Theater. Back in a moment, we are going to find out about the busy brain cure today. Dr. Romie Mushtaq, our life strategist. Stay with us.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And welcome into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for a Living. Jimmy Bryan. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is PLP Lauren Leon McMillan. Let's welcome in our life strategist, Dr. Romie Mushtaq. She is a board-certified physician, an award-winning speaker on leadership and workplace wellness. She's known for her work with Fortune 500 clients, elite athletes, and celebrities. She brings together over 20 years of experience and research in neurology, integrative medicine, and mindfulness to her keynotes and corporate programs. She's also the Chief Wellness Officer for Evolution Hospitality, where she scaled a mindfulness and wellness program to over 7,000 employees. She is regularly featured on things like TED Talk and NPR and NBC and USA Today, and now she's made it to Strategies for a Living. Dr. Romie, welcome. Welcome to Strategies.
Oh, my gosh, I'm honored to be with you all this evening. Hi, Jimmy. Hi, David.
Hi, Dr. Romie, and Lauren's here, too.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Dr. Romie.
So,
I'll be a Zen Buddhist over here with you in the corner.
There we go.
We all get a busy brain sometimes, so no judgment, sister, no judgment.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so now, traditional medicine we have these diagnoses, right? Okay, well, there's ADHD, and we know that can be adult onset ADHD. Medicine treats anxiety, right? Okay. And we treat insomnia. You can go to the doc and get insomnia treated. But you've kind of put those together and you call it the busy brain. Explain that to us.
Yeah. How many people I've ran into that had my same story. In order to be successful in your life, whatever your career was, whatever success looked like, you needed uppers or stimulants to keep going all day and just show up at work and perform. That stimulant could have been caffeine, coffee. Well, maybe back in my day, I don't know about y'all, but I grew up on the days of cassette tapes. It kind of makes me a little old school.
I was before. I could one up you there, Dr. Romie.
Are you the 8-track or the record album?
Yeah, well, I'm before 8-track. I remember when 8-track was a big thing, and we were all excited about it, right? So yeah, I go back a ways.
We go back a ways, right? And back in those days, do you remember how small the cups of coffee were? Or small by today's standards.
Yeah.
So today, people want a large venti latte, and they're telling you and I it's just the venti latte with some bougie oat milk or olive oil or whatever they're doing to coffee these days. But now it's even energy drinks. And when that fails, traditional medical doctors are saying, hey, you can't focus? You're in medical school, you're in law school, you're in MBA, you work in tech. We're going to prescribe you a stimulant like Adderall or Ritalin or Vyvanse.
Yep.
And then you're keyed up and a little anxious all day, and you need something to calm down at night. So it's either you start with alcohol, no judgment, and you think it's a glass turns to 3, and when that stops working, you need a downer, a prescription downer, like a prescription addictive sleeping pill or anti-anxiety pill.
Yeah.
I call this the stimulant sedative cycle, that the only way you can function is being stimulated all day by chemicals and sedated at night by alcohol or addicting sleep pills and anxiety pills. And that is a sign of chronic stress and burnout. And there's a better way to exist.
Yeah. How big do you think this problem is, Dr. Romie? I mean...
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many listeners are nodding their heads up and down and saying, yeah, I've had 3-4 energy drinks today. Maybe that Adderall sounds like a good idea. No judgment. We know this just looking at the stimulant medications in the United States. We take up 85% of the world's prescriptions for Adderall, Vyvanse, and all those related drugs. 85% of all, and that's also in adults, not just our children. So I want to be really clear.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
And while some people need it, right? It's a little bit overprescribed. It's actually a prescribing addiction crisis.
Mm-hmm.
What are the signs if people are listening and they're doing what you're saying, they're shaking their heads, and I think it probably, I'm looking out there and And there's a lot of people shaking their heads. Okay, what are the signs?
I'm here to say
what are the
no judgment, first of all.
Yeah, sure, of
no
course.
Judgment.
But it's
We've all
important.
been there.
It's important to recognize. I mean, you can't change what you don't recognize and acknowledge, right? Obviously, at some point in time, you decided time out, and you did something, and you began to do something about it. So, what are the signs? What do people need to look for that tells them?
It starts like this. Yeah, it starts like this. Like, whoa, I don't have David or Jimmy or Lawrence or Dr. Romie's energy without a lot of caffeine in the morning. And then you have caffeine, and you're like, why am I struggling to focus at work? There are like multiple computer screens, multiple browser windows open in front of me and in my brain. And every email or task seems like a code red emergency. And it's taking you longer than to send a thank you email, a thank you for having me on your show, and all the tasks are multiplying. Something that takes 3 minutes is now taking 42 minutes. And you keep getting distracted. And you're wired all day and you're tired. But when you go home, like I said, you can't take the edge off and forget about work. And so you're like, let me sedate myself with a glass of wine or 3 or a few beers or a sleeping pill. And you put your head down on the pillow because they listened to us today. And then you can't shut off the racing thoughts in your brain. There's like 72 boring conversations. And the most negative, inconsequential thought is overtaking you. Like, for instance, right now going, ooh, thank God I'm on radio with you all and not TV because I'm in Florida right now and my hair is really frizzy. And that would be hijacking me from my sleep.
I love it. Now, our brains have a kind of a system that function almost like the traffic control tower at the airport, right?
Thank you. You read my book, and I appreciate it. The Busy Brain Center, I call the airport traffic control tower of your brain. So think about there in Shreveport, Louisiana. If rain comes through, the airport gets shut down by the FAA, the control tower.
Right.
But it doesn't only affect Shreveport. All the flights that are coming in from Atlanta, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, wherever they're coming in from, they're going to get canceled or delayed. That's exactly how the Busy Brain Center in our brain works. We're under chronic stress. This neuroinflammation takes hold, a specific pattern that hits the airport traffic control tower of our brain. If you geek out on brain science like I do, it's the hypothalamus and the SCN nucleus, your circadian rhythm. So all that gets shut down, and it's not just your brain that gets involved. Your brain is connected like the airport traffic control tower to every other section of your brain. Your ability to think, your memory, your sleep, your mood, and your body. So your digestion, your hormones, your breathing, your lungs, your immune system, and it all starts malfunctioning. And that's what happens when we have a busy brain. It's how, like, you introduced me, and it's the truth. Here I was wearing stress as a badge of honor, working really hard at a job I loved, and chronic stress can cause physical disease. And if you're not careful, the chronic stress could kill you, and it almost killed me. That's what happens when we keep pushing our airport traffic control tower in our brain.
Yeah. Now, it's not a one-size-fit. The Busy Brain Cure, people need to, and that's the name of the book, by the way. It is an 8-week plan to find focus and tame your anxiety and to sleep again. You can find it at your favorite bookseller from Hanover Square Press. When did the book actually come out, Dr. Romie?
It came out in January of 2024, and I'm proud and honored to say it's a national USA Today and Amazon bestseller and is now available globally where books are sold.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. That's great. And, if you pick up a copy of the book, you'll see why it's a number one Amazon bestseller, and USA Today bestseller. But it's not a one-size-fits-all. I mean, it's not a. You've got to kind of got to do some. You got to understand this busy brain because it's not a one-size-fits-all cure, is it?
No, it isn't. Y'all are right because you know me and you know your listeners. Nobody listening wants to hear from any of us. Just eat berries and breathe, and everything's going to be fine. And I feel like that's what all the stress advice out there is like. What do you all think?
Yeah, I mean, so many times you will listen to a program like this, you'll watch, and there's an abundance of them on television and on the internet.
Yeah.
You can find them all over the place. And it's almost, they all make it sound so easy and so simple. And here I am, I'm watching and saying, well, I'm an idiot.
Well, it isn't that simple. And I'm here to say that most of that advice that was out there really worked for our brain and mental health before the pandemic. And we know, and I know from doing the research in over 17,000 people during the pandemic and afterwards, that stress changed the structure and the function of our brain and how we process things. And so we need to get to the root cause of it. And it's just like none of us have the same hairstyle and nobody has the same exact formula. But we wanted to simplify it as much as we could in this book and the protocols we teach at companies. So the first step we say is take the Busy Brain test. You can do it for free. That's the 17,000 subject matters we got while we were researching the book, and get your brain score. You can go to my website, drromie.com, or social media. It's there for you to take for free, and you get a brain score. And then we want to help you find the root cause. And there's like 5 key areas that get disrupted when your airport traffic control tower in your brain is under chronic stress. And that's in the brain shift protocol. We call it a brain shift, and shift stands for those 5 key areas.
Okay. Let me take a break, and then let's talk about those 5 key areas of shift. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
We are talking to Dr. Romie Mushtaq today. Her brand new book, it's called The Busy Brain Cure. It's an important one for a lot of us, and we're talking about it today here on Strategies for Living. Sometimes you just need to go to the theater.
That's right, the theater.
And I'm excited.
Nothing wrong with that.
We've got Shreveport Little Theater here. Been going on for its 102nd year. And
It makes me smile every time I hear that.
Oh, man. It is American theater at its best at 812 Margaret Place. Now, up next, Dial M for Murder. Now, you're going to love this. Classic mystery, thriller murder mystery, kind of a cat and mouse waiting game. You got Tony, who is a retired world tennis champion. He's married. He married his wife, Margot, for her money. And now he wants to do her in for the same reason. And so he thinks he's got the perfect murder arranged. He hires this scoundrel that he knew back in the day and talks him into strangling Margot and arranges a brilliant alibi for himself. But there are so many twists and turns in this, Jimmy and Lauren. You're going to be on the edge of your seat. So there you go. February 23rd. Dial M for Murder kicks off, runs through March the 3rd at Shreveport Little Theater. You can go online, shreveportlittletheater.com, and get your tickets. Of course, you can always call the box office, 458-2700. Get your tickets that way. While you're doing that, go ahead and get your tickets for the April performance of Escape to Margaritaville. American theater at its best right here in Shreveport. Life magazine says it is one of the top 3 community theaters in the entire nation. Come see why. 812 Margaret Place, Shreveport Little Theater, shreveportlittletheater.com. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com. And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillan, Jimmy Bryant, David McMillan. We're with our life strategist, Dr. Romie Mushtaq. The new book is called The Busy Brain Cure. Now, you can go to Dr. Romie, DrRomie, drromie.com, and go ahead and take the Busy Brain Test completely free. Dr. Romie takes about, 5 minutes or so?
Not even. It's simple 20 questions, and it should take three to 4 minutes. And you just think about your life in the last 2 weeks. And they're simple questions like, I have difficulty falling asleep at night. And you answer sometimes, always, or never. So it goes by quickly. And this is you'll appreciate this as a doctor or therapist yourself. This is a validated neuropsychology test that's been around since the 1970s, so back to the 8-track era and albums era. And it measures how stress is affecting your cognitive health, mental health, and physical health. And we renamed it the Busy Brain Test because, listen, as a brain doctor, I can't be walking into corporate America and they say, well, we got a brain doctor here to do a neuropsychology stress test on you. Employees would go running. So we call it the Busy Brain Test.
There you go. I love it. All right, so you were telling us that we got to do a the cure, the Busy Brain Cure, and that's the great news. There is a cure, and I love the fact that you're using the cure word, right? But you got to make a brain shift. The shift, and I want to talk a little bit about dive into each one of these because it's sleep, it's hormones, it's markers of inflammation. It's it's food as fuel, and it's technology. Shift. All right, so let's dive in here. How do we begin to make this shift?
Yeah. So a brain shift is a small, tiny action or a micro habit that I researched. And with this minimal action, you can create a big change or shift in how you feel and the structure or function of your brain and your physical health. I had a little time on my hands in the pandemic, and I got bored with Netflix. That just gave me a busy brain. So I did what I know how to do best as a doctor, and I went into the research, the psychoneuroimmunoendocrinology research, the way the brain is connected to the rest of the body. And that's how we came up with it. And I think it's important for people to know this was researched. And then I'm so blessed to work with a lot of companies that wanted to help their employees. We put over 1,000 executives through this protocol and fine-tuned it to what it is. So step one is to take that Busy Brain Test and get your brain score. So you know where you're sitting and set a goal for yourself. Like, hey, stress makes my neck and my back hurt. I want that to feel better in 8 weeks. I don't know. Do any of you get particular symptoms when you're stressed out? These days, it's my neck and my shoulders. How about you? Yeah.
I have a bit of a psoriasis eczema problem that I call it comes on my knuckles. So I call it, over the years, I jokingly call it my stress
barometer.
My stress barometer. Yeah.
Yeah.
And okay. so I was very interested when, because I know psoriasis, right, is an inflammatory.
Right.
It's an inflammatory process. I don't think a lot of people, maybe everybody doesn't realize that, but it is. And so I was very, very interested when, you began to talk about inflammation as part of, part of this.
Well, to answer that question about inflammation, and then I'll get into the protocol, is any disease that happens in the brain or the body, at the root cause is a certain type of inflammation, whether it's in your immune system and all of that. But what's really interesting that researchers have found over the last decade, like inflammation is at the root cause of the things that cause, the pathology in the brain that causes dementia, or a virus comes in and wreaks havoc in the brain. that so does chronic stress causes a specific elevation of what's known as interleukin-1, that same inflammatory process, and it'll change the brain. And then once you affect that airport traffic control tower, like in your case, it can affect your immune system and trigger the psoriasis. And so I want to put that together. And for you, it's your immune system. For me, when I got sick, it was my GI, my gastrointestinal system. It was slowing down my esophagus and stomach from digesting food, and the inflammation changed the cellular lining of my esophagus to getting precancerous lesions. And I was choking on my food and, in the middle of the night, waking up and choking on my vomit and saliva and getting pneumonia. And this was all because I was sleep deprived and living under chronic stress. So I really want to tie that together for people. Chronic stress, when you go to the doctor, you're like, how did I get high blood pressure or acid reflux? Or and the doctor tells you, are you stressed? That's how it's related.
Yeah. And it's interesting, Dr. Romie, you kept saying in our first segment, you kept saying no judgment. And, you talk about that in the book too, because that's an area that we, it almost is a
cyclical.
It's like
a self-feeding, inflammatory, right?
Yeah. It's like, okay, if I begin to criticize and judge myself, and it's like a wheel I can't get off of. So that's the self-judgment piece is an extremely important piece of this, isn't it?
And we tried to make it funny in the book, but it's also truthful. I'll sit with people that are like, I just need confidence lessons. I need to quiet my inner critic. And all those things are true. But what really happens is when we have a busy brain, psychologically, it negatively impacts us. And you could go through all the inner critic meditations or confidence lessons, and you're like, why am I not feeling better? And it's because we have a busy brain, and it's affecting it's creating ruminating anxiety. And you read in the book in a funny but very serious way, my voice of inner judgment is my judgmental aunties. And the idea of, why are you on this important radio show talking about brain health when you should be asking them to help you find your second husband? That's the voice of the inner critic.
Yeah.
I love it. Did you take the test, Lauren?
I did. Yeah, I took it.
What'd you?
I scored a 23.
Excellent, Lauren.
So what does that mean? What does that mean, Dr. Romie?
Anybody else want to talk about their number, or is it just Lauren? Lauren started out saying she was a Zen Buddha. She is. So under a 30, congratulations, Lauren. You're standing in your brain power, or you are doing well. So whatever you're doing in your life to combat, what all the stress in the world, you're able to perform. When we did the research, less than 7% of people scored under 30. And in fact, 82% of people scored above a 40, meaning you have a busy brain, you have inflammation, and you're heading towards burnout.
Well, I can tell you a few years ago, I would have scored a lot higher. I've made a lot of significant changes. And it's funny, you talk a lot about food and anti-inflammatory food. And very recently, I have made the shift more intuitively and a lot of the foods that you've listed are foods that I have started eating. So I thought that was interesting.
See, this Dr. Auntie wasn't making this stuff up, And by the way, I don't want listeners to tune out right now going, oh, God, she's going to tell me to eat berries and I'm going to have to give up my favorite comfort food. Yeah, we created this protocol, Lauren, so that people could eat comfort food. What food is Shreveport, Louisiana known for? I would love to know.
Oh, well, I guess
we're kind of an odd mix between Louisiana, South Louisiana, and Texas.
Yeah, we are.
We're like
I think
half Cajun, half barbecue.
Yeah. Maybe a little more than half barbecue.
We're a little closer to Texas.
The good news is I'm not going to take the barbecue away.
Thank you.
That's the one thing we do in the nutrition world in the West is we have robbed people of joy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many people were happy when they heard the word barbecue or Cajun food? In the book, I use the example of my maternal grandmother's lamb biryani, a very popular dish with rice and lamb that originates from India. And, like, she's looking down upon us from heaven right now, and I think of all the love that went into that, and people who were in conflict in the extended family, you would sit down to that lamb biryani and there was nothing but joy, and you forgot why you were upset.
Yeah.
Every family has a recipe like that. Whatever state you come from, whatever country you come from, foods that are tied to religious holidays, those are the brain's core memory of joy. And when we start telling people you can't eat the lamb biryani or the barbecue or the Cajun food, it creates trauma and guilt and shame in the brain. And we don't want to do that.
No, because that's just going to create more inflammation, right?
Exactly. And so what we do is we invited people in week 4 and 5 and 6 of the protocol, Lauren, exactly to what you were saying. I say, hey, schedule the comfort food. Mm-hmm. So if it's your child's birthday party this weekend, please have birthday cake and ice cream with them. Don't watch them, don't let them see you making a face with the cake and they're going to feel bad about it. But schedule it. And instead we say, in week 5, you pick one or the other. You either have a high glycemic carbohydrate, which is a food that will spike your blood sugar, so white sugar, white flour, white rice, white potatoes, or you have caffeine, one or the other, but not both. So the bad news here is you can't be putting sugar in your coffee or tea, and you got to skip the bagel or the donut or the croissant along with your tea or coffee. But,
I just gave him an arm jab.
Yeah. I just got an arm jab, and I did my busy brain test while you guys were talking. So that's how simple it is, folks. You know, drromie.com. I got bad news.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What you got over there?
Uh-oh.
I've got a brain strain.
You got a brain strain?
Yeah, my score was 48.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And that's why we're having this conversation today. Maybe God, the universe, destined for us to speak today so that you won't have to. I had to live through my mess so I could prevent people from going through theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's it. So step 1 is that. Step 2, and I already said no judgment. So when you're stressed, you get the psoriasis. So you already know my goal is I'm going to get less of a breakout of rash on my knuckles. Now, step 2 or week 2 is we want to correct the circadian rhythm, the S, the shift in the brain, the S in the brain of shift. And so we put you on a 7-day sleep challenge. That's right there in the book. And no matter whether you work first, second, or third shift, we have a system there for you that's based in science, based in cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia techniques. So simple techniques I'm going to ask you, like, could you set for the next week a regular time to go to bed every night, whether it's a work night or school night or not, and a regular time to get up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then you got to have clean sheets on your bed.
Okay.
And if you got stuff under your bed, like even dust bunnies or whatever, all of that's got to come back out. Nothing under the bed.
Okay. All right. So, well, I got to start. See?
Yeah.
Hey, don't feel bad. I got a 48.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Well, we're competing with each other for
There you go.
Yeah.
And you know what? Call me back in 8 weeks. We're going to do this 8 weeks together. I just connected with you on LinkedIn. I will be your accountability sister here.
I love it.
Let's do this together.
I love it. All right. The book is called The Busy Brain Cure. It is the 8-week plan to find focus, tame anxiety, and sleep again. Dr. Romie Mushtaq is our life strategist. And see, I definitely needed it. So do you, Jimmy.
That's right.
Here we go. Maybe I just need to go see a movie.
That can help. That can help you feel better, right?
Absolutely. And I'm going to the Robinson Film Center, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
What have you got your eyes on these days?
Well, this weekend I'm thinking about the Teachers Lounge. Highly
touted.
Yeah, and both movies that are playing right now are wonderful. Now tomorrow evening, if you want to go see all of the Oscar-nominated short films for 2024. They're all at the Robinson. I mean, that's the thing about the Robinson Film Center. You've got You've got goings and comings like this. I mean, there's only a handful of these centers across the nation. We have one right here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And the lagniappe, there's a good Louisiana word, is Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor. Full-service bistro and bar, second floor of RFC. What you want to do is join the crowd, join the fun, become a member of the Robinson Film Center. You get discounts on movies. You get concession upgrades. You get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport, RobinsonFilmCenter.org. And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Lauren Leon McMillan, Jimmy Bryant, David McMillan with Dr. Romie Mushtaq, our life strategist today. Her new book, The Busy Brain Cure. You and I need this book.
It's got some
Jimmy,
good stuff in it.
It's got some great stuff in it. It truly does. Now, folks, you can go right now, even before you get the book, and I encourage you to do this, go to drromie.com, DRROMIE, and take the Busy Brain Test. You can do it in under 4 minutes. You can do it for free, and you know exactly where you are. So there you go. And if you're like Jimmy and I, you don't have to. We don't have to go out of the studio kicking each other because we've got help. You know?
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go. There you go. So this is good stuff, Dr. Romie.
Thank you. I feel very proud of it. It's a life work. And, you know, for people that are getting the book, you get your score. You can go straight to Chapter 10 and start the 8-week protocol. But in case your doctor is wondering, wait, is this stuff real? Or you're a geek like me and you like science, Chapters 5 through 9, I break down all the science that I've been researching. And here's the fun thing. You get to also read the stories of the teachers, the guides, the healers that came along to help me find my busy brain cure so that I can help you today with yours. And that's what it is so important to me, that I research the science, and then you read the stories in Chapter 10 to 18 of high-performing, intelligent professional people just like you and I who said, Dr. Romie, please share my story of how the busy brain cure and the brain shift protocol helped me so that maybe somebody else will heal theirs. So really it's an honor to serve. I don't want anyone to walk that lonely, hard journey that I went through.
Yeah. There's so much in here.
Yeah.
I like the wellness triangle jumped out at me.
Yeah, you like it because I marked that page.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I turned to it. Oh.
Yeah, the person who has like the best score out of all of us. Yes, Lauren.
It was very cool. I like it. I like your analogy there.
Yeah. So in Chapter 9 of the book, if y'all are wondering what they're talking about of the wellness triangle, I started this research in 2017 at an amazing company known as Evolution Hospitality. They manage hotels all over the United States and Canada. And hotels, like hospitals, are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And I put them through the next step in the protocol, which is digital detox. I went to the CEO of the company and said, hey, listen, I know your hotels are open 24 hours a day, but I'm going to take your top 500 leaders in the company and say no screen time before bed. That's no social media, no smartphones, no e-readers, no Netflix on your laptop, and no watching movies on your TV for 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime.
Okay.
And the results were incredible. And you get to read them there, which is half the team completed it and the other half couldn't. They were busy in budget season. They said, forget it. And it was great because as a doctor and researcher, you know that like now you have an internal control group.
Yeah, it was your control group. Sure.
That was my control group in the company, and it was amazing. The people who were able to just do this one thing, digital detox, their anxiety scores improved drastically. Their stress scores dropped, and their daytime energy was elevated. They couldn't have done better had I given them prescription Ambien or Xanax, like a sleeping pill.
Right.
And that alone then started a movement with other companies when they would see the research. So at Evolution Hospitality, I was then in 2018 named their chief wellness officer. And this wellness triangle was the roadmap of how we keep our employees healthy. And today I've just started a job now as you and I are interviewing. I've moved on to Great Wolf Resorts, and I am their chief wellness officer and using the same kind of data-driven research to take care of over 12,000 employees known as PAC members.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
For a moment, we hear what you just recommended. Shut down the screen time, shut down looking at your phones, looking at your iPads, even watching, going to your computer or watching a movie on TV. Some people might want to know the why behind that. What is the why, Dr. Romie?
There's two whys to that. Is the blue light that comes from all of these devices, they go to the back of your eye, your retina, and it goes to that airport traffic control tower in your brain, and it says, hey, Lauren, Jimmy, David, woohoo, time to wake up and be energized again, start stressing, obsessing, and overthinking and worrying again. And it raises the stress hormone levels in your brain, even if you're watching a TikTok that's making you laugh or a movie that you love. It will raise your energy stress hormone levels, adrenaline, dopamine, cortisol, and it brings forth the negative thoughts in the brain. And it makes your sleep good and feel good hormones like serotonin and melatonin plummet. And that's what's happening. But here's the other thing that happens. Every time your finger touches that smartphone screen to swipe, like, whatever it is, you're hitting the dopamine reward center, the addiction center in your brain. It's just like taking a hit of crack or cocaine. And that's why you can't put your phone down, because you're like, ooh, I got that dopamine high, and you put it down and you go through withdrawal and you pick it up again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As we're talking, I'm just thinking of myself and how many of us are like those, those little gerbils. I never had one, but I see them in the pet store, the little gerbils on the wheels. Yeah. And that's the image that I've got in my mind. How many of us are like those little gerbils, We're just running, but
going nowhere.
We ain't getting nowhere. And we're trapped.
Yeah. And let me tell you, it's hard to do, especially when you're in stilettos. I tried. It doesn't work, So we've got to find another solution. And that's what it is. And now some of your listeners are like, Romie, is it really that simple? I take the Busy Brain test. I do the 7-day sleep challenge. We give you natural, scientifically backed supplements to try that you can, buy online easily. And then we do the digital detox. And yes, it is that simple to restore the biological clock in your sleep. And can I tell you the best news about this, y'all?
Yep.
Is 3 to 4 weeks in, when you start doing this, the stress eating stops. You stop craving the foods you eat when you stress. So if you're that person that says, I opened a whole bag of potato chips and cookies and I must have had amnesia, I don't know how it just all disappeared, that craving stops.
I tell you what, this is a guidebook. It's an eye-opening guidebook. If you're looking to overcome the relentless cycle of chronic stress, anxiety, burnout, well, have I got a book for you? The Busy Brain Cure, 8-week plan to find focus, tame anxiety, sleep again. Dr. Romie Mushtaq, and visit her on drromie.com and take the test. See where you are. Let's cure this busy brain. We'll be back in a moment. And welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmy Bryant, David McMillan, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillan. Well, we learned a lot today from Dr. Romie Mushtaq.
We did.
Yeah. Dr. Romie, you got a promise to come back.
Please.
I would be honored.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm coming back in 8 weeks. Didn't we decide that? You're going to do this protocol now.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to check in with you on LinkedIn, and you got to bring me back, and let's check in on how each other's doing. And by the way, keep me accountable. I'm in the middle of a book tour and starting a new job, and I am working hard to practice what I preach too. So why don't we all do this together? And
I
with
love
your
it.
listeners who are listening.
I love it.
And thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, your work is incredible. The book is incredible. You said earlier it's a life's work, and you can tell it. And so
She's
thank you.
as sharp as a tack.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
Well, thank you all.
So jump
It's
on.
important to me.
Yeah, I know it is, and I'm looking forward to the next time. And by the way, when you get to Great Wolf over in Grapevine,
Yeah.
Texas,
Yeah.
you're just a couple
Just down the
hours
road.
down the road from us. So you give us.
We're all getting together for barbecue.
There you go. She's playing my song. Right? The Busy Brain Cure. That's the name of the book. You go get. It's an 8-week plan to find focus, tame anxiety, sleep again at your favorite bookseller, drromie.com, where you can start and take the Busy Brain Test. And I hope you will do that. Thank you, Dr. Romie Mushtaq,
Thank you.
for being a great life strategist today. Folks, thank you. We have guests and we do programs like this for you. That's the reason we do strategies for a living. And the reason we can do it is because of our wonderful sponsors, the Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning RX, Hempress, Cannabis with Love, and the Shreveport Little Theater. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who is it that you'd call? And what would you say? And here's the question. Make the call. Why not? For Dr. Romie Mushtaq, for Lauren Leon McMillan, for Jimmy Bryant, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.